Well, this movie was absolutely brilliant. Hi, my name is Charles, and today on my channel, I'm going to be talking about the new movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Man, that is a mouthful of a title, but I said it. Anyways, the movie is written and directed by the Daniels. They are the directing, writing duo behind Swiss Army Man. This movie stars Michelle Yeoh, Stephanie Hsu. I don't know how to say the father's in the movie's real name. I'm sorry, guy who's in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the best Indiana Jones movie, and also The Goonies. I'm just gonna call him Mr. Kwan because that is his last name. So sorry, my man. James Hong and Jamie Lee Curtis. Those people are the main people who star in the movie. You get a little cameo from Jenny Slate and Harry Shum Jr. But yeah, those people are the main cast of the movie. See, going into this movie, I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, I never watched the Daniels' first movie, Swiss Army Man, so I really was going into this movie blind because I didn't watch their debut feature film. I didn't watch their second movie either, so I was really going in blind. I was just going into this movie because the ratings for the movie were so high, and I thought to myself, it's playing in Seattle before it goes wider next week, so I might as well go watch it and see what all the fuss is about. So I went to Seattle with my friend and we watched it in a very packed theater, and I was like, dang, well, of course it's full. Like, people in Seattle, we are just like cinema, film, like give us something different, and different is what this movie was. If you don't know, this movie is basically about a very depressed woman whose life is basically falling apart, her family is breaking apart, and they are being audited by the IRS, and she's just not in a good place, and then this alternate version of her husband comes to her and asks her for help because he says that she's the only one who's able to save all their universes, and I'm like, okay, this is a multiverse story. Is this going to be something good? Because when it comes to multiverse stuff, the only people who have really been doing it at this moment in time, is Marvel. And so far, I'm not really liking what they're doing because it just feels like what they're doing is very, look at this, look at this. And I know DC's going to follow because, of course, DC has multiverse stories in their own comics, so they're going to do multiverse things too. But this movie, the way it handles the concept of a multiverse felt very grounded, and it made things feel very real and very more pointed than just being like, ooh, look who's here. It actually did something with the concept of the multiverse. This movie is very impressive from every aspect. I mean, the directing from the Daniels is top notch. The writing is phenomenal. Like, a lot of the things in this movie really gagged me. Not only the jokes, but like the heartfelt moments. I was like, wow, where'd y'all pull that hat out of? I mean, is that the expression? Where'd you pull that out of? I don't know. But anyway, I was just surprised that they were able to pull out so many good jokes and so many heartfelt moments in this movie. And oh my god, the fact that this movie really mostly takes place in basically only two locations, but they make it feel like you've been to a lot of places, really shows how well they used the whole multiverse story, but still kept it very tight, as even though they kind of jumped to different locations, those locations were very small, so really you were only in two places in this whole movie. Most movies these days with their visual effects don't really impress me that much. I mean, sometimes they just feel so underwhelming. I mean, I know visual effects is a very hard thing to do, but I mean, it's their job, and a lot of visual effects recently in movies have been looking a little lazy, and I'm just like, y'all, it does kind of detract from my liking of the movie, which is why I'm very more into practical effects. But with the visual effects in this movie, they really knocked everything out of the park, and I heard that the Daniels got six of their friends who were also music video directors, because the Daniels were apparently people who were music video directors at the start. Like, they asked them to help them do the visual effects for this movie, and it just looked amazing, the visual effects overall in this movie. And I just need big studios to be taking note, because I don't know where all that 200 million plus dollars that usually goes into big blockbusters goes into. Like, I know it has to probably go into directors and actors and producers and all that, but I'm like, y'all, this is a smaller movie, and yet they made this movie feel more expensive and more like impactful and more epic than any of the most recent like blockbuster movies that I've seen. Moving right along to the actors, wow, Michelle Yeoh, this performance probably is the best performance that I've seen her give. I mean, I've only seen a handful of her films because some of them are in, is it Chinese? I don't know, like from wherever she's originally from. But I think for the most part, she does great in most of the movies I've seen her in, but I don't think I've ever seen her like been given a role like this, given like a lot of depth and complexity. And I saw an interview recently, I think it was for GQ, where she started crying because she said that when she read the script, she knew that this was something and it was going to allow her to show everyone what she was capable of. And yeah, that's exactly what she did. She showed us that she is capable of everything in this movie. And oh my God, just one of the best performances I've seen all year. I mean, that's not saying much because it's only April at this moment, but like it just resonated so much with me, and it probably is one of my favorite performances of all time at this point. Okay, let me talk about Mr. Kwan, aka Raymond, in this movie. I mean, my God, it's been decades since he's last acted. I mean, what was his last movie? Because I feel like the last big movie he was in was The Goonies. I mean, he made his mark with both Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and The Goonies, and then he split. I don't know why, but after watching this movie, I'm like, baby, are you gonna continue to act? Because not only did you execute the fight choreography brilliantly, but you really brought it. I mean, he has a monologue in this movie toward the end about being kind and choosing kindness, and I was just in the theater being like, ah, mm, mm, no, I was tears were falling down my eyes because, ooh, so good, and I really just want to see more from him because, you know, when you see an actor who's so good, like you don't want to let them get away. And it's like he's returned to acting for this movie, and I'm like, baby, you need to continue acting because you deserve it. But once again, Hollywood needs to give Asian actors better roles because my God, Michelle Yao and Mr. Kwan have shown that when you're given like quality work, they will produce quality like stuff. And it's like, of course, duh, but you know, Hollywood's annoying because right now they still are not giving like good enough projects and all that to Asian actors and like Latino actors and all that, which is why I'm like, y'all, electric chair, electric chair. Okay, as I said, love Michelle and love Mr. Kwan in this movie, but the breakout star for this movie for me was Stephanie Hsu. I mean, this is like the biggest thing she's probably been in, and her performance in this movie is just spectacular. The amount of depression and sadness and rage that her characters were feeling in this movie really just I just identified it with it so much. I mean, by the end of the movie, she really had me in tears. She was like, I just need to go. Like, it's over. And I'm like, yeah, I felt that. I felt that what you were putting down, girl, because I feel that way like all the time. But God, Stephanie Hsu. Hopefully she gets more work from this. If she doesn't, then Hollywood, you racist, because she is a star. She's a star, and she deserves to be treated like one because, oh my God, everyone in this movie is amazing. But Stephanie Hsu, really, as a newcomer, is making a really good debut. So y'all need to snatch her up and do something good with her. Something good. I don't want no like sideline role. I want something really good. Give her like her own TV show. Do something, y'all. Do something. Lastly, I want to talk about Jamie Lee Curtis real fast. I mean, her role in the movie is pretty small, but she does like that character which she's asked to do really well. And then the way the writing happens and that they show that even though she's a bit crusty and like there's more to her than meets the eye, which is of course most situations with people. Like people who are usually mean, there's something to them that made them mean and kind of crusty. So like Jamie Lee Curtis, very little screen time, but she does a lot with it. And I'm like, girl, you better work. Like at this point in Jamie Lee Curtis's career, I feel like she should just be doing stuff like this, like very character actory supporting roles because she's doing pretty good at them so far. Now, some people are saying that this movie could get a lot of Oscar nominations. I mean, the critical score is very high and the audience score is very high too. But once again, it is April, so it does have that hurdle of being forgotten, and it also has the hurdle of being a genre-y movie. I mean, hopefully it's one of those movies that it transcends its genre and hopefully Academy like gives it the awards that it deserves, because personally I feel like if in nomination wise they could maybe get Michelle Yao for Best Actress, Best Original Screenplay, Best Editing, and Best Visual Effects if they're playing their cards right, even though I feel like Mr. Kwan should get Best Supporting Actor, and maybe Stephanie Hsu for Best Supporting Actress. And if they're being wild, maybe even like costume design. And that's not wild. I was gonna say Best Picture, but they should get costume design too. But Best Picture, because I feel like the movie has a lot to say about like people feeling down and like life not being fulfilled, but you have to choose kindness in order to like really get through life. And I feel like that's an important message to get out there. So I feel like it could get a lot of Oscar nominations if campaigned correctly. But I just really hope at the end of the day it could maybe wrangle Michelle Yeoh an Oscar nomination, because how does the girlie have no Oscar nominations? Not one for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and not one for Crazy Rich Asians. I mean, she deserved. She deserved, y'all. I mean, there probably are other movies that she deserved, but those two in particular, I'm like, she should have like been nominated. So don't mess up this time, Academy. Give her a nomination for this movie. I'm actually seeing the movie again tonight with my family because I want to show my family this movie, because especially my parents, I'm like, hopefully y'all learn something. Hopefully y'all learn something from this movie. But yeah, it opens wider this weekend, so hopefully y'all go watch it. I mean, I know that the new Sonic movie is out, and also the new Ambulance movie from Michael Bay starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is out, but make time for Everything Everywhere All at Once, because this movie is spectacular. It should be seen in a packed theater, and honestly go into it mainly blind, because I didn't really know much about it other than it was kind of like a multiverse story, and I think I was better for it because the surprises in the movie like really got me. It got me. And really, I haven't felt this way about a movie, watching in a movie, like being in a movie theater. I haven't felt this experience since I watched The Worst Person in the World earlier in, like, I believe it was like February. That's when I watched that movie for the first time, I believe. But that was the last time I was in a movie theater and went, wow, this is cinema. I'm living. It's giving me everything I need. Like, I could have made reviews for like the Batman or any of the other movies that have come out recently, but I just wasn't feeling like they were exciting me. But this movie really made me be like, okay, let's get into the like filming chair and film a review for this, because this movie deserves to be talked about. You know, because of this movie, I went and watched the Daniels' first movie, Swiss Army Man, and you know, once they kind of like cut off the whole farting corpse thing, I was like, okay, I see the heart here. I see that growth from this movie all the way to Everything Everywhere All at Once. I gave the movie a 3.5 out of 5, I believe. I'll put the letterbox review for both Everything Everywhere All at Once and Swiss Army Man down below. But yeah, I can see the growth that they've had from that movie to this movie. I see the familiar themes they've taken from that movie to this movie. And I'm just really excited to see what the Daniels do next, because if they keep doing stuff like this, I mean, if not Oscars, they have to be taking in like big money, because stuff like this is what cinema is lacking right now. It's cinema in blockbuster terms especially is lacking like a vision. It just feels like everything's just the same. And with this movie, I'm like, yes, we have directors at the helm who are giving us their vision. And it's like visually, like not only are the visual effects, as I said, amazing, but it's just visually engaging. And I'm tired of all this grayscale in like movies and TV shows. It's like, it needs to end now. Anyways, you guys, those are my thoughts on the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Tell me down below in the comments what you guys thought about the movie if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, go see it if it's around you, because it's a good time. It deserves to be seen. It should be seen. And you know, let's support indie movies, because I don't know how much this movie costs, but y'all, we need to help it make the budget back and make a profit, because it deserves. It deserves. Anyways, you guys, thank you for coming to my channel and watching this whole movie review. And yeah, I'll see you guys around the next video if you're around for that. I know I haven't been making that many videos recently, but I've been busy, as I've said in past videos, playing video games, so my time has been very taken up with that. So I will be doing reviews for other movies, like The Northman for sure, the new Doctor Strange movie, maybe Ambulance if there's enough to talk about. But yeah, I'm gonna try to put more content out there. So, you know, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, if you thought my thoughts were interesting, because you know what, I talk about movies all the time. And you know, maybe follow me on Letterboxd if you have one, because I'm always posting movies, like reviews when I'm watching movies, which is usually every day. As I said, I've been playing video games, so I haven't been watching movies like regularly as I used to, but I still watch movies. So, follow me if you thought what I was saying interested you. But anyways, getting back to the outro, blah blah blah. I'll see you guys around in the next video if you're around for that. So until then, I'm gonna go now. So yes, okay. Bye.